It is all over for Donald Trump. He lost the election. He failed to deliver during the debate. Now, he's saying, oh, the immigrants are eating the cats and eating the dogs. It's like, what? What is he going off of? What a weirdo. It's so weird. What is he talking about? The illegal immigrants are coming in and they're eating the dogs and the cats. It's like, what is he going off of? Like, is he completely delusional or what? Like, what in the world is this guy talking about? Literally. And every single question Kamala answered, she proposed a solution. And Donald Trump, the only thing he had was, it's a disastrous 4 terms. The border is wide open. No, they're not doing anything about it. Vote for me. Donald Trump had no solutions for the American people. This is not the way to win an election. And he's not listening to any of his advisors. He's not listening to any advisor. Donald Trump thinks he alone is going to fix it, is going to win on his own, but he's not listening to the advisors. The advisors have to tell him, hey, you got to offer something for the American people. And Kamala Harris has offered far more economically than the entire Republican Party. Because the Republican Party is all the inflation, all the Democrats, vote for us. There's no inflation. And Donald Trump did not offer anything to spear growth small business. Kamala Harris said she'd give small business a $50,000 tax reduction during their first year as a new business. And Donald Trump didn't offer anything for the American people whatsoever, except hate and fear and division on the border. But Kamala Harris destroyed Donald Trump on the border. She said, you could have supported the bipartisan border bill. You told your fellow Republican House members and Senate members, we can't pass the bill. We must not pass the border bill, giving resources to border agents because, oh, how dare we do this during an election? What a joke. I like Rio J. Stone's comment. He thinks Monday Night Football before this debate, Kamala from San Francisco, the 49ers defeat the New York Jets, and Donald Trump is New York, although Donald Trump's permanent address is Florida. He's no longer a resident of New York. He was in 2016, but not during 2024. But the connection is there that Donald Trump is from New York. But a very interesting thing that the real Jay Stone said. I mean, when Biden had the disastrous debate, people thought it was all over. Christian McCaffrey was not in the starting lineup. People thought it was all over. So a similar effect. After Biden's poor debate, they thought the election was over. Trump won. After McCaffrey was not in the starting lineup, they thought the game was over. The New York Jets were going to win. But instead, the reverse happened. The 49ers hardly missed Christian McCaffrey. So a similar effect. These are some interesting things that we can point to as far as the Monday Night Football game goes. Tim Walsh from Minnesota. The Vikings destroy the New York Giants. Donald Trump, New York. That connection fits too. But this was not a good debate performance for Donald Trump. He just had hate and bigotry. Kamala's bad. Vote for me. I have no solutions. That's not how you win an election. I think Kamala with the $50,000 tax deduction for these new startup small businesses, that's something Donald Trump failed to deliver during this debate. Donald Trump has nothing to offer for the average American. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He never got it in 2020 either. Now, I thought the disastrous tax bill, the failure to have a better healthcare plan, I thought that was bad for Republicans from the get-go in 2020. Like, I knew for the entire presidency, Democrats are going to win 2020. I was right. But then I mean, if Trump brought people together during COVID, he probably could have won the election, ironically. If Trump took COVID seriously, attacked the China virus, and just took it personally, like if he just acted as president, he could have won in 2020, but he's just so unpresidential. He was such a big, giant loser. It's not hard to do. Take COVID seriously, attack COVID, and you win re-election. But Donald Trump blew it for himself in 2020. Somebody like that, they had the election on a silver platter. All you have to do is unite the country during a crisis and you win re-election. But Donald Trump is a big, giant failure. He's the worst president ever. He attempted to incite an insurrection, overthrow the democratically elected election of the United States of America. Yeah, I don't think Kamala's going to be a good president, but we already know what a Donald Trump presidency is. Let's give the reins to somebody else. If she does great, then great. That means America does great. But I don't think she'll be a great person. But we know that Donald Trump is a far worse presidency than Kamala Harris. She's a newcomer. Give her a chance. We already know what a disastrous Donald Trump presidency is about. We don't want to give an already one-term failed president another chance. We cannot afford that. Donald Trump had nothing to offer for people economically. If you start attacking on inflation, you better have real solutions to handle and solve inflation. Donald Trump has no solution for inflation whatsoever. The thing that people don't get about inflation is most of the inflation happened before Biden was inaugurated, because the reopening of the economy creates a placebo effect where it results in a skyrocket of demand because people, they sat back. They kept money back for over a year. They did nothing for a year. So, of course, when the economy reopens, it results in inevitable inflation as not a direct result of the president. I think that's what Americans understand. I think Americans are well educated to understand the economy. Now, not everybody, but you have plenty of Americans who understand exactly what causes inflation, and it's not the president. The president's not a czar waving the magic wand, directing the economy. That's not how economies work. Donald Trump had nothing to offer for the American people.
Talking about his former officials who
They didn't go off, they didn't ask anything about gun violence. What a travesty. Now, I thought if they didn't bring up climate change, I thought it'd be a complete mitigated disaster as far as the future of the planet goes. At least they did, but we know Donald Trump doesn't give a damn about the future of the planet. He wants to get rid of the EPA. He had these oil people running the EPA. So Donald Trump, he does not give a damn about the planet whatsoever. We can grow the economy in a reasonable way to preserve resources for future generations. This is what we need to happen. We have more people, more than at any point in the history of the world, who are not ready to colonize other planets. So we should be doing everything we can to preserve resources for future generations when we assume we're not ready to go to Mars or other planets in our solar system to try to make these planets habitual for human life. Because there may be a point in time where an investment in space exploration is something that we may need to do inevitably in order to solve all these very, very big issues of overcrowding. There's not enough resources, all of these fine stuff. Donald Trump didn't do a great job this debate. You're just not going to win a debate with lies. He didn't even go after Kamala's prosecutorial record. American people are smarter than what Donald Trump gives them credit for. You're not going to win an election outright based off of lies. He failed to cater to independent voters. I think it was great that Kamala, she's got new ideas. The $25,000 for the new home could be bad. I disagree with, but her tax incentives for these new businesses are fantastic ideas. You're not hearing Donald Trump propose new ideas. The average voter is smarter than what Donald Trump gives him credit for. So this is another shortcoming of Donald Trump tonight. You're just not going to win an election based off of fear and hatred and bigotry and outright lies. It just cannot happen. And it will not happen. Donald Trump had to do more during this debate to cater to independent voters, and he did a terrible job. Kamala has won the election. The poll numbers are doing great for Kamala before this debate. She's already won the election. She has more to offer for the average person than Donald Trump. This is what it comes down to. There's no crisis. There's no scandal with Biden or Harris. They've delivered on the economy on the short term and on the long term once more infrastructure jobs are created and the jobs are implemented. Alan Richman is correct. Donald Trump has lost this election big time. He needed to perform better during this debate. He failed, is what it comes down to. It's not just demonizing Kamala Harris. You have to offer more to the voters out there. She hammered and dispelled the notion that his economy is going to help consumers. He wants to raise tariffs. What he really means is it's going to be more expensive to buy goods from China and Mexico. Donald Trump wants to raise tariffs on these goods. And there's something called retaliatory tariffs, which means if you try to play hardball on China and these other countries, they're going to raise tariffs on American goods. So these ideas are all failed ideas economically from Donald Trump. I think America is really sick and tired of this reality TV show. On top of it, it's a reality TV show. Donald Trump doesn't have good ideas to begin with. He had no regrets about January 6th. This is not going to resonate well with independents. He has no remorse whatsoever. He wouldn't have done anything any differently as far. He could have regretted having Mike Pence killed. But he's a narcissist. He's a sociopath. He doesn't feel any regret. This guy is manic. I think Kamala did a great job of just letting Donald Trump do all the talking this debate. The weirdo went off on the immigrants, killing the dogs and the cats. Guy's a weirdo. That was some J.D. Vance-esque stuff right there. I mean, Kamala didn't come across as a lunatic whatsoever, but that was one moment for Donald Trump where he was an outright lunatic. Just what in the world was he talking about? Seriously. Man, this guy's burnt toast. He was desperate. All he could go off of was the border and the brown people coming in. Every single question, this guy's desperate. He has nothing to offer to the average voter. Donald Trump himself lost this debate. I think Kamala could have went after Donald Trump even more than She did. She could have attacked Donald Trump for his failed negotiation of the Afghani withdrawal. I mean, it, she sat back and Donald Trump self-destructed. He did it himself. People didn't learn anything new about Donald Trump after tonight. If they didn't hear about Kamala Harris small business owner deduction, they did after tonight. The guy's a failure. That Donald Trump is a mitigated disaster.